This is the show. Call it how I see it. And on today's episode, I got a couple of things I want to talk to you all about. First and foremost, I would like all of y'all to wish my best friend a happy birthday. Yes, it's Felix's birthday, everybody. May 22nd. This young man, no longer such a young man, is now 6 years old, but still young at heart. And I love him, and I cherish every day I have with him. He's just really special to me, and the best mascot in the world, I may add. But yes, I just wanted to put that out there. But back to the takes. So, first take, we have my man Glenn Pratt in the house. And we are here to talk some basketball as the conference finals are now underway. We talk about last night's matchup with the Timberwolves and OKC, including tonight's matchup with the Knicks and Pacers, as we are getting down to the final two. So, you don't want to miss out on what we have to say about that. Secondly, I had the one and only Kenny Blake in the house. Yes, Kenny's returning on the show this week, and we are here to break down the NFL schedule review. As I break down my Eagles, he'll break down his Steelers, and he'll also throw in what matchup he finds most intriguing. So you don't want to miss out on that take, because things are going to get a little serious. And finally, I do a solo take about how good the Phillies have been. Yes, the Phillies have been on fire. I wouldn't say total fire, but they've been playing really hot, and the momentum is really shifting our way, where we have the best record in the National League right now, and it's all smiles over here. So you don't want to miss out on this action-packed episode. And we are back. And look who we have in the house, the one and only Glenn Pratt. How you doing, my guy?
Yo, it's always good to hear from Joffey, because I'm always down to call it how I see it. Let's get it.
Let's get it, G. So, some things have broken down in the NBA, and now we are here in the conference finals. And as of last night, we saw OKC pull 1-0 lead, which kind of came to my surprise, as we talked about a little bit at work. So I had a feeling that maybe, Anthony Edwards and the Wolves might be able to, pull off a win, just because they had some resting time. And we kind of were talking about how OKC just coming off of 2 days rest, but you put down the hammer, G. You're like, no, OKC's gonna win no matter what. Like, they're just a deeper team, and last night we saw them pull away in the second half and win this game pretty convincingly too. Especially the margin of it just started raining buckets on them, and it just the T-Wolves didn't have any answer other than really Julius Randle out there. But what you would call it? I was gonna ask you, with everything that we've seen last night, do you think OKC is now clearly the clear-cut favorite to probably hoist the trophy at the end?
I've been thinking it was going to be them in Boston early in the playoffs, but now, under the circumstances, of course, Boston wasn't able to pull through. Now you got the Knicks and the Pacers.
Right.
I mean, OKC was always going to be in it to me, and I'm a big Tatum guy, so they got my bubble busted that whole way that played out.
Right.
But no, OKC is definitely, without question, in a perfect situation to make this happen for them. I just think last year, them being on the cusp, this year, State brought it back again, number one seed. I mean, I just don't see Minnesota giving too much resistance here. I mean, in 6 maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I look at it. I'm just trying to be nice to Minnesota. If it was done in 5, I wouldn't be surprised. I really think OKC runs it like that, defensively, offensively,
Right.
bringing a lot. I just don't know if Minnesota can match it.
No, for sure. Even last night, we saw how, we've always known how deep their roster is, but they went 9 deep last night. All these guys sharing minutes, moving the ball around. And then what I saw, which was really big, and we kind of saw also happen when the Nuggets series had to close them out, was kind of like Shea kind of like taking over the game at the end of it, just doing the clutch type of stuff. I mean, for most of the part, the game was close, and then OKC was able to get on a run in the third quarter and just start pulling away. And at that point, it was like no mercy at that point. But
Right.
I mean, we saw Edwards get banged up, kind of leave the game and come back, and most part he wasn't really too effective even before he got banged up, and to the point where he came back, he was really even less effective in the game, and kind of you saw it when Minnesota needed a bucket to help stop OKC's momentum and everything that was going on in the third quarter and the way things were moving. It just they didn't have anybody to do it. I mean, Julius Randle did the best he could, putting up 28, but I mean that's only one man show, and for this you need a whole group effort. Nobody else really kind of threw into the pot and helped put up more points for the Timberwolves in that spot. But man, I'm telling you, man, OKC is you got to give them a lot of credit to see where they are now. I mean, banking on all these draft picks and just constructing a team around these draft picks. I mean, getting SGA for the Paul George deal and just seeing getting Chet Holmgren and getting other guys pieces like Jalen Williams and just seeing how this team is constructed. You have to give Sam Presti a lot of credit, man. I mean, he's been doing this. He's been doing this since. Yeah, for sure. He's been doing this since he got to OKC. When they transferred over from the Sonics to going to OKC and seeing how things breaking down. He's held that franchise down. They've had their dark years, but now they can really shine, and now they're really reaping the benefits from it. I mean, they were the number 1 seed last year, came up a little short. Youth kind of affected them in the playoffs a little bit, but now you see them ready, Their coach is young. Their coach understands their team and how to use his team. It's a really fun watching. It's really fun watching this go into motion. And you also got to look at that arena too, man. That place is electric. They really back their team. They love that. Not like there's not too many other professional teams in Oklahoma City, but like for everything that's going on around there, it's a big buzz, a big hype. And if they can bring a title there for their first title, it would say a lot and would definitely send some shockwaves down like NBA for like years and years to come.
They've been the best team all year. I mean,
Yeah.
for whatever it's worth, I know a lot of times in professional sports, the best team doesn't always win it. But
Right.
to me, OKC's put themselves in a perfect position to be able to capitalize on the big year they had.
No, for sure.
At this point, I just don't see there being much resistance.
No, for sure. I mean, like even back to SGA, he won the MVP. He was crowned the MVP today, and stuff. Like some would have argued last year maybe he deserved it, but with him and Jokic, it's neck and neck. But for what was done, I mean, he held the team down for most of the year, and then I really think he earned this MVP. And he's really, he's a really crazy talent to watch. Honestly, he is the definition of a walking bucket. And to see him put up 31 last night when his team needed it most, he's coming through in the clutch, and he's really starting to ascend and take that next level, and possibly even, able to lead them and win that championship. And for a young team like this, with a couple of vets around like Caruso and stuff, but like this team is like, they definitely are well rounded around their leader, and they definitely, use that type of energy to help get them to where they are to win these games like the way they've been. So it's definitely gonna be interesting to watch. I mean, from the Timberwolves perspective, I mean, you need more than Julius Randle out there, Anthony Edwards. A lot of people are starting to come out and question him and saying his clutch and stuff, or not playing a half, or just showing up late in the game. It's definitely gonna come to light, especially with this performance tonight. But we'll see, or last night, excuse me. But we'll see, how his injury fares along. But if he's not 100% and he's not being able to contribute the way that we're used to and accustomed to seeing him do, they got no shot. I mean, like you said, 6 games would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, just being nice. I mean,
yeah,
I like OKC. Like you said, everything about OKC is legit.
Yeah.
Defensively, offensively. I mean, they just they got a lot to stop. I just don't know Minnesota has. I don't think Minnesota has enough.
no, for sure. I mean, they're pretty deep too. They go down like 7 or 8 deep in their rotation too. But like when they're not, doesn't matter if you're putting in minutes and player usage rate or whatever else. Like you got to put the ball in the bucket and help your team on defense, and that's what it really comes down to. Analytics all aside, that's what it comes down to, and that's what matters. So I wanted to dive into tonight's matchup before it happens, and we got a big one coming in the Eastern Conference Finals. We're laying up some old rivalry frames, as we saw them play last year, Indiana and the Knicks, but now like we've also remember their historic battles in the 90s and with Reggie Miller and everything. So this series, it's definitely gonna be a fun one to watch, especially since it's the new generation of Knicks and Pacers. But to see where these two teams got to get to this point, it's definitely gonna be interesting to watch. I know in Madison Square Garden, everything going on, there's a big buzz. It's gonna be ruckus crowd type atmosphere over there, so we're gonna definitely dive in and watch this one for sure. But I was gonna ask you, Jade, do you think this Knicks team has what it takes to make it to the finals and get past the Pacers?
Let me tell you something. The way things played out in New York has a lot to do with it. I mean, Indiana took care of Cleveland.
Right.
New York took care of Boston. I mean, to me, it's really opened up for New York here. I mean,
Yeah.
Indiana's good.
Right.
I mean, they're good. But I really think the Knicks are in a prime spot here to take advantage of an opportunity. Now, in my opinion, they can't beat OKC.
No.
But to make it to the finals, oh, absolutely. I mean, I could see this series going 7, to be honest with you.
True.
But at the same token, I definitely think the Knicks have an upper hand here, home court, of course. But I just think they're a tick more talented than Indiana, even though I think it's going to be a competitive series. I see New York coming out on top.
Yeah, me too. I mean, if we look at both lineups, they're pretty, starting 5, they're pretty on par with each other. I mean, with the way the Knicks set up their roster. Even Indiana, they go deep with Siakam, Miles Turner. They got guys that are ready to rebound and, push the ball around. So, it's going to be interesting to see how Cat matches up with that. But, we know how the Knicks are set up, more guard kind of base wing type of style. So we're going to see how that goes. And, we know about Tibbs, he's going to be using his players. Like, they run 6, 7 guys at most during most of these games.
They earn their money.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it, honestly. They really be earning their money out there. But, given all that, though, we've seen it work, and then they're healthy. So, this is the point, you got to use them. You got to use every bit of them. So until something breaks down. But, it's gonna be interesting to watch. I definitely can see the Knicks trying to throw Mikal Bridges on Halliburton and trying to throw his timing off or trying to shoot. But we know how Halliburton has become a good distributor too. Just dishing the ball out, and you got Nembhard. He's a good shooter, and they got some other guys. Benedict, Malibert, I think. I can't pronounce the name sometimes. But
right,
they got some players. They got some young players too. So it's going to be an interesting matchup with these two young teams playing against each other. But I definitely think the Knicks are primed and ready for this type of ascension, especially since they knocked out the boogeyman, man. They knocked out Boston.
Right, exactly. They
So
initiated a lot of this going forward. They knocked out Boston, and Indiana knocking off Cleveland really put. I mean, seriously, Knicks.
yeah,
Could the red carpet be rolled out for you? I mean, to at least get to the finals.
no, for sure.
Like I said, I don't see them winning it myself, but me, they're definitely primed. It's wide open for them.
No, for sure. And then, Jalen Brunson's gonna get his, man. He's been the leader. He's been the number one. He's been the motor for that team. And as long as he's out there, that team's gonna go. I mean, he wills it really.
I'm telling you, I feel like every time he shoots it, it's going in.
Yeah.
When he misses, I'm almost surprised, bro. I'm telling you,
yeah.
dude, he has his game is on point, man.
It is. His court awareness is really sharp. He knows exactly where to be on the court, or even situations and types of defense that breaks down. He knows the best position for himself to make the best shot he can make in terms of that possession. We see it over and over, whether it's a bucket right at the free throw line or a three, or even going to the rim. He really cerebrally, Jalen Brunson is he's
IQ through the roof
for real.
Absolutely.
Honestly, and you see it come to light, and even dishing it out to other guys too, and letting them get his when he realizes there's double teams and things breaking down on his side of the offensive side of the ball. But the Knicks are there, man, and there's like I said, there's a big buzz around the Knicks, and like we said, they did the hardest part already. So now you got to execute and finish and just finish the job. That's really what it comes down to. But it's gonna be electric for sure. And like you said too, I can see this going 7. We got to give Indiana credit. Honestly, coming in, I think they've looked the best coming in, at least in terms of beating the teams in the competition they have. But now this is where things get tougher. So we're just gonna see who really shows up in here, for sure. But G, I'm gonna wrap it up on that note, and I want to thank you for coming on.
Hey, come on, Joffey. Anytime you call me, I'm always down to call it how I see it, man. Anytime. I appreciate you having me, man.
Absolutely, and we'll be touching base about what goes on further, moving on forward in the conference finals and everything else.
Absolutely.
But all right, G. Until next time.
Until next time. Be safe, Joffey. I'll talk to you.
And we're back. And look who we have in the house. The one and only Kenny Blake. How you doing, my guy?
I'm doing okay, Joffy Joe. Thanks for having me on another episode. I'm calling how you do it. Call it how you see it.
Yeah.
I'm honored to be here.
Hey, man, I'm glad to have you on. And for this particular take here, I wanted to drop in and talk about the NFL schedule reveal. Yes, maybe we're a couple days late, but that's why we're here to talk about it and run it. So I wanted to ask you, Ken, what game out of all the schedule that came out, which one grabs your attention the most?
For week 1, we do have a couple good games out there. There's 9 games that I like.
Okay.
8 games is division games. They start early with the division games. But the one game that I really like is the Baltimore Ravens versus the Bills.
Okay.
I think they kind of playing early, but you might see a rematch later down the season, probably in the playoffs.
Right.
But I'm really excited to see Baltimore Ravens in Bills games, and with Lamar, with Henry running the ball, and he also got a weapon to throw in. And you got Bateman and also Andrew, and then you got the key piece of a veteran wide receiver of D-Hop. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do.
No, they had a good draft too. I mean, the Ravens definitely fine-tuned their team. It's just it's always been the same notion with the Ravens. Are they going to be able to get over the hill? Same thing with the Bills too. So it's going to be a rematch. We saw how things broke down last year. So that's definitely a good one. To see when these two square off and battle again. But what else did you get? What else you got?
That's pretty much it. The division games, and then the main one is the Baltimore Ravens, and then also the Bills.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good game. That's gonna be a good must-see TV game right there.
Okay, I can definitely dig that. So I mean, I'm repping the Eagles. So I mean, going down the list of some of the games, I'm not gonna lie, Kenny, our schedule's fucking tough. It is. From playing to the NFC North to playing against the AFC West. It's not going to be an easy one. So, especially since most of these teams were in the playoffs last year, the Eagles are definitely going to have a tough test against them. I mean, right off the bat, we play the Cowboys, which, I think that's just going to be a fun night.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, going down the line here, I mean, playing the Chiefs week 2, in Kansas City, it's not going to be easy. But we did win there last time, 2 years ago. Playing the Rams week 3, it's going to be a tough one. The Buccaneers, who've had our number since the millennium started, it's going to be a tough one too. And we lost to them last year too, but also woke up the sleeping giant. Playing the Broncos next. Not easy. Giants, Vikings, your other purple team that you like out there. We'd be facing them.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead, hit it again, Kenny. Show 'em what you got. Yeah, you like the skull. You like the skull. All right. Well, we'll see what happens when the Eagles burst the skull in Minnesota. So that's not gonna be an easy game either. Playoff team. I mean, new quarterback, news. We're gonna see how things adjust for JJ McCarthy and the Vikings. And we play the Giants, the Packers. We're a bunch of sorry losers that we're gonna talk about. With the tush push. But I can't wait to play them, even if it's in Green Bay, because you guys ain't on our level yet, man. But we'll talk about that. Then we play the Lions. That's pretty tough, I ain't gonna lie. We probably should have played the Lions in the championship game. That's, if anything, Kenny, I think that game excites me the most, especially as an Eagles fan, because there's a lot of what if, especially with last year. Like, what if we would have played the Lions? Because there's people chirping saying, oh, if you guys played the Lions, might have been a little different and blah, blah, blah. So for me, I think that game excites me the most because, I do recognize their team. They've been a powerhouse the last couple of years, and they just haven't been able to finish the job against the heights that we have. So
yeah, I kind of want to see what the Lions can do without their offensive coordinator. I know they're in the same division, but can Jared Goff have the same season that he had last season?
And that's it. But we always had that notion with Jared Goff, waiting for a mistake to happen, and we saw it kind of happen when they played the Commanders. They trusted his arm, and they fell behind, and the Commanders just kept pushing and pushing and scoring, and the Lions had no answer for it. But they lost. They also lost Terry Glenn on the defensive side. So losing two coordinators could be very, could be detrimental to a team. I mean, I saw the Eagles when they went to the Super Bowl. They lost their coordinators, Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon. So I mean, I've seen what that can do. So it really matters about having a strong head coach and leader to help keep that team moving in the right direction and stuff. But I'm really excited to see that one just because a lot of people chirping. But just to finish things off here, we have the Eagles play the Cowboys again, which that's going to happen on Thanksgiving. And that's the Thanksgiving game, so that's going to be interesting to watch. And I mean, I can't even remember the last time Eagles played the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. So I mean, the NFL definitely. I know the last couple years, the Eagles and Cowboys games, they've rated a lot better. So I mean, I definitely think the NFL took notice of that and try to make these games on the biggest stage that they could, including Thanksgiving. So, and then just to finish things up, like I was saying, we play the Bears. I think the Bears are going to be a 9-10 win team. I think they're going to ascend with especially like you were saying, having Ben Johnson there. The Chargers, Jim Harbaugh's gotten a lot of credit. They fine-tuned their team a little bit better. I think they still need some more receiver help to help Justin Herbert out, but we'll see. They're definitely going to be running the ball. I mean, the one kid that they picked up from the draft from North Carolina, he's a freaking monster. I saw him shake Jim Harbaugh's hand, and dude, he was a monster. I was like, wow, this guy's going to be a problem.
They got Najee Harrison up the running game.
Yeah, they took him. They snatched him from you guys. So I want to dive into what you think about the Steelers' schedule in 1 second. But back to finishing up here. I mean, we got we got the Raiders a little bit before Christmas, and then we end up playing the Commanders, the Bills, which is going to be a good one. That's going to be right after Christmas. And then we play the Commanders again on Week 17. I don't know why the NFL thought that the NFL really should have gave us the Commanders. I think they would have won that game Week 1 too, especially with everything they've done in the offseason. I think they feel like they're ready to fight us now. But the NFL had other ideas, and I guess they went with the ratings over the quality of a game. But breaking down the Eagles season, it's not going to be easy. But I think we will show our armor, and I think we'll probably rack up around 11 to 12 wins. It's going to be interesting to see where the Commanders do, too, because they face basically the same schedule as us in terms of opponents and stuff, minus a couple of extra teams that get thrown and sprinkled into schedules for teams and stuff. But we'll see how it goes. I'm excited, and, this gives us a reason to talk about football. Even though, I was watching a lot of people, they're like, oh, the NFL schedule reveal, it's stupid, it's a waste of time, blah, blah, blah. But listen, man, I'm happy talking about it with you, Kenny. This gets us to talk about football. It's just the continuous factor of football going throughout the whole, year process.
We are 2 months away from it. OTA started. The mini camp is next month for some teams out there. So right. I'm excited.
So I want to see if you had that same excitement for the Steelers. What do you think about the Steelers schedule?
I'm looking at the schedule. I know we don't have that veteran quarterback present like Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers.
Mason Rudolph.
I have faith in Mason, but can he take us to promised land of over the first round hump? But I think we're going to have a good season. Our defense is productive. Our offense is kind of struggling if we have the key pieces.
Right.
I guess we had to step up and fill the voids that we lost in the offseason, like Najee Harrison, Russell Wilson, Justin Field, and then also we just lost Pickens in that offseason trade.
I mean, that trade just happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So we do got a couple shoes that we need to fill by minicamp. So I think we're gonna have a good chance of probably having a decent record. We might split the division games one apiece, but I think we want to be second in the conference. But I'm looking forward to see if we can make it to the playoff, deep in the playoff.
one thing that I mean, even like Glenn, we have Glenn, big Steelers fan too. I mean, one thing about Mason Rudolph, like he did go on a run to make them, when things got like when they had to have him thrown in the fire and lead them 2 years ago. He did take them to the playoffs. Mind you, didn't really do anything like you were saying. But I mean, we'll see. Glenn thinks around like 7 or 8 wins maybe, but missing the playoffs. But we'll see. I mean, a quarterback definitely matters, and maybe somewhere out there is a quarterback that's won a couple MVPs and might actually show up to camp and throw the football around for them. So we'll see. We'll see how things break down for the Steelers. But Kenny, losing some pieces was big. Getting DK Metcalf was really big too. But I mean, if you don't have the right guy throwing the ball, we see how DK can kind of get on the sideline. We don't need another diva distraction, especially coming from Pittsburgh. But we'll see how things break down. But Kenny, mind you, that is the schedule, and there's something that came out that was huge today, especially for an Eagles fan like me, because we have a team like the pesky Green Bay Packers who are haters and just want to scratch at us because they can't stop the play. All right, and the play that I'm talking about is the tush push, yes, or brotherly shove, whatever. We know what it looks like, we know what it does, and we know that Jalen Hurts has scored a lot of touchdowns from it. So, mind you, whatever else society and sports fans alike want to rag and trash about it, the vote came out today. They were missing 2 votes. So basically, a vote between the owners happened, and they need 3/4 of the vote. So mind you, there's 32 teams, so they need 24 votes. Came too shy with just 22. And shout out, kudos to the teams that didn't vote yes. Kudos to them, because this is some bullshit. I gotta get this off my chest. It's like I've seen teams stop it. I've seen the Washington Commanders stop it. I've seen the Tampa Bay Buccaneers stop it. I've seen the fucking Jacksonville Jaguars almost come back and beat us. They stopped that play 3 times. All right, I watched that game over. They stopped it 3 fucking times. So if you're pathetic like the fucking Green Bay Packers, just bolster up your defensive line. Learn how to stop the play. I mean, you're really sounding like a fucking baby, man. Honestly, like I just can't believe that like a team executes a play so well, and you're just like, nah, it's not safe. But there's no data or any record to prove that. No one's really been hurt from the play. So I mean, yes, the play's been ran more of late, and the team that also was big advocating this proposal, the Buffalo Bills, they ran it the second most with Josh Allen. So I don't really get it. I don't know where angles this is coming from. People want to change football and say, oh, this is safe and that's not safe. Bro, just stop the fucking play. All right, it's been done. Tom Brady was doing the QB sneak, and like my variation is this: if you have. So there's plays, right, Kenny, where like you get a running back or a wide receiver or tight end, they collide with somebody, and then they're tracking, and then how many times have we seen an offensive lineman help push his guy? Is that not going to be allowed now too? Is that going to be considered unsafe? That's just like it grinds my gears, Kenny. It really does. But what do you think about this?
I kind of had like a mixed feeling, like about the push. I wanted to be safe, like for like a quarterback safety, like if. Like
safety's key.
Safety is more big. If the quarterback is under snap, they could get like a concussion and all that.
There is a lot of with that, but go ahead.
But I do want teams to kind of like you said stop it. And,
yeah.
Stop it. Like it's football. So.
Yeah, man up, man. Fucking, you don't hear fucking people like that when they're when in other professional sports like rugby and stuff, and they have to line up for the play. You don't, what I mean? I don't know. It just drives me nuts that one play is so successful and people just like nah. Like a fucking flea flicker. Like this team runs a flea flicker at 100%. Are you gonna go and propose it to the league next year? Like, come on, man, get out of here with that. So.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
50-50 with the.
I can understand your point of view, and like you said, safety is very important. But I mean, also in the realistic database here, there hasn't been any injuries towards it. So I mean, mind you too, I'm not in the scrum. I'm not the guy that's on the low man and feel like my neck can break at any time. So I can't really speak on that. I can't. If some people feel like it's unsafe because of down pressure of 2 people colliding and the risk of injury from the head to the neck, especially with the NFL trying to be more safe and everything involved with that, there is understandable. But I also just kind of smell something bad around here. And I feel like it's Roger Goodell trying to push the agenda, trying to control things behind the scenes like he always does. And that's just kind of what I see. But it didn't pass. It's going to be around for one more year. Learn how to stop it. And that's really all I got to say.
Yes, sir.
All right. But, Kenny, I appreciate you coming on, man. I really do.
I appreciate it, Joe. I'm excited for the season. I can't wait for the season to start.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, this gives us a good reason to talk about football and a good reason for us to be happy.
Yes, sir. Sunday night.
Yep. But all right, Kenny, until next time.
Until next time.
All right, peace, my friend. Well. Look who's been playing some really good baseball. Yes, the Philadelphia Phillies. In their last 22 games are 17 and 22. Very, very impressive. Mind you, too, also a lot of victories and some sweeps against, lower level teams. But still, they're major league teams, minus, whatever might be going on with the Pirates, Rockies, and the Rays, whatever. But still, you have to capitalize and win these games. And they won. So, mind you, we have beaten good teams along the way. The only series that we did lose was against the Cardinals. But seeing where things ended last month against the Mets and seeing where they are now, I'm very, very content. They've had wins against good teams, like series wins against the Cubs, against the Indians, and right now, things are looking good. Pitching's been good, and, given everything going on with Aaron Nola and his struggles, it's been tough to watch. Has pitched better on the road than at Citizens Bank Park, but we know that he has good stuff, and hopefully after this little stint on the IL, I think that he'll be able to get back on track and mesh back into the rotation. But very impressive debut by Mick Abel. Yes, almost basically out pitching Paul Skeens, which was cool because Paul Skeens recognized Mick Abel, and going up through the ranks of being a prospect, he always saw Mick Abel as a pitcher that he wanted to emulate. So to see where they are, Paul Skeens turned into a phenomenon, but seeing where they are now, it's cool to see the kudos and respect in terms of talent and arm ability between the two. But back to Mick Abel, surprise start, and no surprise what he did. Honestly, his stuff is filthy. He's a first round pick, and big kudos. It's a shame that right now it was only a filler, but they sent him down to AAA when he was called up from AA. But he'll be pitching right there with Painter and everything, and to see, or to know in the back of your head that these two guys, these two young studs, possibly phenoms in terms of what they can do on the mound, and just being starting pitchers too, but having them in the back burner of things, and if someone else falters in the rotation, or maybe you even need a plug here and there, later on when the Phillies, and the Major League Baseball season winds down later in the year, even adding these guys to the postseason roster could be huge. So having them in the wings, fresh arms that no one's really seen yet, it could be very, very sneakily great additions later on in the year. So definitely going to have to keep an eye out on that. Painter's been looking good, even in AAA. He's been moving up the ranks, and like I'm saying, having these two guys ready right there, it's going to be something to keep an eye on in the future. Something I did want to bring to light was the Jose Alvarado suspension. Yes, it kind of caught us most off guard. He tested positive for, a testosterone weight loss product that hasn't been really cleared by the MLB yet. So, but also to the argument, he did fail only 1 out of the 3 tests. But it's, given everything that's been stained with steroids, you got to take the time off, Jose, because you mess up again, it's 1 more year, and then after that you're done. So that's just what the MLB has slammed down in terms of steroid use. But it's a shame to see that go, and he won't be eligible for the postseason. So the Phillies and their bullpen might need some help later down the line. So there's a couple scenarios I saw that might possibly happen. I know that there could be a scenario where we make a trade for Kenley Jensen from the Angels, that possibly. He's been around, well-renowned closer, the Dodgers and the Braves, but having a veteran arm like that wouldn't be hurtful to add later on in the year. We know he can close out games. He's got hundreds of saves in his career, so we know in the big moment he could be not even in the closing role, but to get through a lineup and get through the next inning, that could be big. That's just a possible scenario. I don't know, but we can see, and I think the Phillies could possibly make a move like that to help add to their bullpen, because they're probably going to need it. We're going to look at guys like Joe Ross, Tanner Banks. These guys are going to have to start doing more and filling this void where Alvarado won't be, because he was having a pretty good year for the most part. We know about his sinker and his cutter, the movement that it has with the velocity it comes with. It's scary stuff, honestly. But not having that available, especially in the postseason when we're going to need it, we're going to need other guys like Jordan Romano, who has been pitching a lot better. I'll give him credit for that, but I still need to see more, especially against better teams. But the way the Phillies are breaking down right now, I'm really excited, because we have Schwarbombs almost every night, and it's been fun to watch. And honestly, Dombrowski, I don't know what you're waiting for. Give this man a contract. Honestly, he has proven that he is one of the best hitters in baseball right now in terms of his bat speed and everything, and contact, and just having total power. It's great to see Kyle Schwarber, flourish in the cleanup role. Honestly, he's doing better in the cleanup role than he did as a leadoff hitter, and there's not as much pressure to get on base or whatever. He just drives the ball, and if it goes, it goes, and most of the time this year it's been going. So I think having Schwarber in batting cleanup has been big, and a big helpful boost for this lineup. Still waiting for some other guys to come get back together, like Bohm. He had a good night the other night against the Rockies, but batting, falling down in the lineup and stuff. So we're seeing the Phillies break down like this pretty, we're seeing them get hits. They're getting on contact. Even players like Edmundo Sosa coming into the lineup, having a 4-for-5 day against the Rockies. Yes, against the Rockies. But, like, I just want to break this down. It's still, professional baseball. So, like, to go out there and hit the ball and get in rhythm and stuff, it helps you moving forward, and especially later on down the year. It helps your confidence and how you approach the plate each time. So I'm definitely very happy. I need to go to a game very soon. It's like I'm itching and watching, and I'm just like, I need to be there. But it's been exciting stuff, and I'm really excited to see where the Phillies might go, because things are on the up and up, but not to rain a big damper on this take. They still have to beat the Mets. I mean, the Mets still have your number, and they're right behind you. Mind you, too. I mean, we have the best record right now in the National League. Yes, behind, I believe, one game behind the Detroit Tigers for best record in Major League Baseball. And kudos to the Tigers, because, wow. But seeing where the Phillies are right now, this lineup's it's not gonna go anywhere. They're gonna, if they can still stay consistent in the race and neck and neck with the Mets, I like our chances. I do. But like I said, there might be some pieces that need to be added later. Maybe, like I said, pushing these young guys in. Maybe even pushing like Ranger Suarez back in the back of the bullpen or something. Something's gonna have to be done. Add another person. Something's gonna have to be done. But for the most part, for what this team, the core of this team is doing right now, I'm impressed. I'm watching, and I'm excited to see what they're gonna do moving forward. And I mean, you gotta give credit when it's due. Rob Thompson's doing a good job. He manages these guys. I think he just manages these guys the best he can, especially during the regular season. But the question marks are gonna pop up in the postseason, so we'll see how things break down. But overall, though, I'm really happy. Yeah, even Max Kepler playing left field, doing, getting good at bats and starting to get his own rhythm back and finding himself back at the plate. I mean, he had a below average year last year with the Minnesota Twins, and now getting the shot on a 1-year deal, looking good in left field and hitting the ball and contributing in this lineup. It's just working wonders, and it's good to watch. They're putting up runs, and I'm really happy. And Bryce Harper, ever since he shaved his head, looking like a new guy at the bat. So since he shaved his head, I believe he's batting was around 500. So things are looking up, and I hope, it's still a very long season, and this is why this is just an update. But to see where the Phillies are right now, I'm excited, and I wanted to give up one last shout out. Shout out to Jesus Luzardo. Yes, what a great trade acquisition. Peru, yes, a Peruvian pitcher. Yes, I've been waiting for this. I couldn't even imagine it happening, but it's here, and he's a fucking monster. Shout out to my boy Jesus Luzardo. I have the jersey on the way, and I can't wait to rep it. But big addition, especially for what Tyler Phillips really is. I mean, I'll take that every time. But even what he had to say about playing in Philadelphia today, very humbling. And, he's gone from bad teams to understanding to winning and winning on a winning team with a winning organization. So he definitely embraces, his role here in Philly from what I was reading, and it's really cool to watch. So I'm very excited about the Phillies right now, and I'm trying to go to a game really soon. But that's my Phillies update for y'all. Yes.